Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 59.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.
And welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Scotty827, joined live in studio by the wettest, the slipperiest, the scaliest of the scaly, Swim Boy, the
Thank you
master
for
of the
having me
sea.
back.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. As I was kind of saying before, this is kind of your season, and I was thinking, I was thinking of you as the Aquaman of the House of L.
Yeah.
Like you're the one hanging out in the water on the beach.
Yeah.
That'd be kind
Or
of
on the ship this season.
yeah. What do you think about it?
I think the scenery is absolutely amazing, and just all the skins too. It's such a good lineup, especially that Cyclone Prince. It's tempting me. It's tempting me.
I don't know how I cannot buy it, to be honest. So it's
Yeah.
the May 2025. Got to check the year. Season, and this is for the people in the future who are listening to this. It is Battle for the High Seas. I keep wanting to say Battle on the High Seas. And so there's a lot of big themes with samurai mixed with ships. What would you kind of say it is?
Oh, it's a very interesting combo. It's like, yeah, like samurai, pirate.
Meets
It,
future Japanese or
yeah, something. It's a very interesting combo, but I think it kind of works surprisingly.
yeah, because I'm like, as I look at the Battle for the High Seas picture, I'm like, there's a samurai king sitting right there, and
hmm
I just would not have expected that part.
Yeah,
What do you think about the scenery?
I absolutely love it. It's perfect for 10 all 17. Fits the dark aesthetic. I think the rain, honestly, like up top, is really a nice touch. Almost like it adds that
I
kind
see
of,
it.
I don't want to say like gloomy vibe, but almost to that extent with the light from the lanterns around it. They did a very good job. I think they've been upping their game for sure.
On the scenery.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's like that with the Minion Prince, right? Where it's like I see that thing and I'm like, yeah, I really want it. And I'm probably
hmm
I have to buy the Minion Prince one. But um I was just saying to somebody, I don't even see him on the map anyways, really. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I really want it so
Yeah.
bad, but like here's the one thing about the scenery. I want to buy it, but it kind of makes me motion sick.
Oh, because of the movement in the background and
Yeah,
stuff?
and I don't
Yeah.
really get motion sick that easy, but it gives me a little bit of like disorientation. But that makes me think, hey, maybe that's something I really want to get then, because maybe it'll do that for some. Maybe I'm just crazy or something. You don't feel
Mhm.
that at all? Well,
Not
you
too
don't
bad.
have. You've got sea legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say some of the boats going by, especially on that top side, look a little bit off. Like the scaling was done weirdly or something. So that I can see some disorientation from that, but, otherwise, I love it all around.
That's cool. Yeah, I think they are doing a really nice job with them. I think it's beautiful, and
Mhm.
I think it's cool that they're kind of doing it to like different cultures and
Yeah.
in surprising ways, and not really maybe just going for like a pirate theme, but
Right,
taking
exactly.
it um somewhere a little bit different. I
Mhm.
forgot what I was just going to ask you there. Um, so on that map, there is that. Is that, would you call it a octopus or like an Leviathan? I keep thinking Leviathan, but
Yeah, yeah, like a something on that top side with the giant with the flamethrower. Like, it's so unique, the different, touches that they add.
do you think that with that octopus or whatever, do you think that's foreshadowing something that's coming up?
Mhm. It could be. I think they have been known in the past to do stuff like that, and I could see, like, some sort of a event or something.
because they have it for I'm trying to think, like the Cookie Workshop, they had the Siege Machine stuff in it. The
Mhm.
WWE, they had the uh characters in it, so maybe because
Yeah.
we don't have an event troop. When the event starts this week, right? Next week coming out.
I think so. I haven't really kept up with, like, the dates and
Yeah,
stuff this season as much.
it's that time of year. It's just like everybody seems to be going crazy, and the daylight's
Yeah.
getting um longer, and so we're all kind of staying out and getting our stuff done, I think.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I'm digging it. Are you thinking
Yeah.
about buying the skins? You said,
Honestly, they're really cool. But if I was to buy, like, one thing from it, it'd probably be the scenery. Because there are a few other skins from past that have finally entered the shop that are, water themed that would still fit this very well.
oh,
Um, and also the scenery that I bought, I think right before the last episode I was on, the Dragon Palace scenery, that
oh
one,
yeah,
the
yeah, yep,
underwater, they match that too really well, so it'd be a good, like, kinda going back and forth.
very nice.
So, they were the ones that came with the Dragon Palace.
Okay, so what have you been up to since the last episode? You've been It's probably been
Well,
4 or 5 episodes ago, I think.
yeah, yeah, I've been upgrading, upgrading, upgrading. I feel like some new levels dropped between when I was last on.
Oh, for the
Um,
Inferno Towers. Maybe it was
yeah,
right before that. Maybe it was
mhm,
like the week before that or something that we did it.
yeah.
So
So I've maxed out all those, and now finally, for the first time ever, been working on my supercharges, and I got all my level 1 supercharges done, so now I'm just working on those level 2s. I love how fast they go.
yeah,
It's like a
isn't that
little
nice?
reward for the 15-day upgrades of Tunnel 17.
Very nice. So I saw this in chat the other day, and I kind of I remembered it right away, and then I forgot what you said. So I want to ask you about it.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, you when I was in the chat, and you mentioned in chat that um, it was the air defenses when supercharged had the highest DPS or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Other than the monolith against, like, the Barbarian King would probably be a little higher, but, it's fully supercharged, it's 690 damage per second. Because the first supercharged damage as well as the second supercharged level, which is the only one that actually does that, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah,
Um,
when I saw that, I was like, well, I'm thinking. So I'm in this place where I'm like, I've got just the wizard towers, the bomb towers, and the Teslas to finish.
Mhm.
And so when you said that, I thought maybe I should work my supercharges like I did, kind of strategic, wait for
Mhm.
books for those. And that's kind of been my plan for the high level things. But then I thought, well, maybe I should be doing, I'm getting hit with dregs. Maybe I should do the air defenses if you're saying that. And then you said an order a little bit later. I don't even know if it was the same day, but of the things that you did first when you started supercharging.
Mhm.
Can
Yeah,
you
so
write
I
those
I
down?
think my first was my first was definitely the monolith and the multi-gear tower because those, I mean, air and ground, the damage increases on the multi-gear, I think was 36 for level
Really?
1, which is, a pretty good upgrade. The monolith, I think it was like another percent or an extra couple damage per second or something. So that was pretty good. And then I think I hit the spitters next, just because that's like the best splash damage in the game, um, somewhat. And then I did both levels on the air defenses next.
Okay. Well, I must have just read part of the conversation. Because I just went in for my spitters first.
Hmm.
And I couldn't remember what you said, and I thought maybe we would be talking. So okay.
No, yeah, the spitters are definitely should be one of the first ones. At least the first level. The second levels just add like an extra 150 HP, which is nice, but don't make that much of a difference.
Okay. Yeah, and I did do my my monolith. It's so crazy though, like you said, because I just started making some decisions on the upgrades, right? Like the fire spitter, but it was so short that like
Yeah.
they're all coming around again, and
Hmm.
in like in a week, I've got like the 2 levels done, or I guess not 2 levels in a week, but it just seems just so much faster to
Oh yeah.
take it to that max.
Yeah, the
Um,
first levels are like what, 3 days if you have the gold pass, and then the second ones are more like 5.5 days with the gold pass. Yeah,
yeah,
5 days, 4 hours for the multi-arch tower to go to level 2. Like it's so much
you
nicer.
can do a lot in like a month, on a
Hmm.
base. Um,
Yeah.
so what do you, so what have you been attacking with then too? Like, um, well, I guess here's the thing: are you noticing a difference on your defenses when you start to get in the supercharged?
Yes, I would say so. So this season definitely been my first. Oh, this I say that, and then today's been my first rough day in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, 3 triples or 4, yeah, 3 out of 4 triples against me, and the other one was an 89% 2-star. I think I
That
finally
looked like
broke into
mine.
that echelon of better players, but, I mean, there's been a tons of 1-stars against me, um, and a bunch of, like, 80%. Yesterday, the highest was 90% 1-star, then some, like, 68% 2-stars, like, it's been a lot nicer with the superchargers for sure.
Have you changed your base since last month?
No, not at all. I
No.
those 1-stars are so nice to see that I take the risk 'cause, the way I have it right now for the listeners, I have my town hall separated by a row of 2 walls surrounding it, and then, it's inset within those walls, so it's very far away from everything else, so the
Is it the
troops are
one I'm
very.
thinking of where it's the one where the town hall is like on I think if I'm seeing it right. Sometimes things
It's
flip in
the
my
right
brain.
side,
Yeah, and then it's
and
kind of
then
yeah, okay. Yeah,
yeah, and then so that one has a invis tower on it as well, the town hall does, and then I have a massive group of defenses similarly segmented off from everything with an invis tower around those, and so if you attack the town hall first, you save the massive thing of, defenses for last, and so they just get shredded, so they probably won't triple.
yeah.
But if you attack the defenses first and save the town hall for last, usually you time fail at the very end, and so you can't even get to the town hall. So it's just a double-edged sword, unless you do like fireball or
It's
other
fun
attacks
to
that are just
hit.
not used.
I like
Yeah.
seeing that base because I also think if I'm remembering too, over in that left corner, it's just like you kind of have to decide on that base. Like I have to deal with this major structure with like if think a minion prince and a king,
Mm-hmm.
and over on the one corner or like this inset town hall. And so like when I'm looking at it, it really challenges the funnel, or
Yeah,
like
it does, and it's such a weird shape too.
yeah, and seeing how people have hit that base in like worlds, like you just don't know. Like that one
Mhm.
attack against you, I remember looking at it and we're going, he doesn't got it. He doesn't have it. And he did this
Mhm.
some weird thing and came, I don't know, I guess kind of south and then swung back around and got the town hall. I can't, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, something like that.
Or maybe he didn't get it in the end, but it was very, very close. Like
Yeah, I remember there was 1 star, and that like, we were down on
that
percentage
was
at
it,
the
I
end of the
bet.
war, but
Yeah.
it was a 1 star, and that got us it. It's like, "Oh my goodness."
I wonder if base building did kind of drop off a little bit this last month. I haven't like upgraded I got to look for a new base and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, going into to worlds or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, so what you're seeing in your legend leagues, what's like your typical like amount of 3 stars against your
For
defenses?
against me, um, so last season before I started supercharging, it was like probably 6 on average, even with using so the base that I was using that, the inside town hall and the defenses have the invis, it's kind of like really good, base for like low, probably like sub 5,500 trophies because they're less experienced players. Because if you hit that base correctly, you can just shred it. So I think I switched to a different base above 5,500
Oh,
trophies,
okay.
and that probably lowered me. I guess last season was a little weird because of the disarmors, so it was like 8 triples against me every single day.
Wow.
It literally wasn't minus or positive for like 5 days straight, and I'm like, yeah, something has to change. But
Yeah, I was kind of glad to see that
yeah,
be done.
too. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, so on average, I would say probably because I hover around like 5,700 range towards the end of the season, and I think 5 to 6, probably 5 triples against me, and then the rest are like high 2 stars.
okay.
But this season, it's been like 1 or 2 all season up until today. It's been of the 4, 3 of them were triples, and one of them was like an 87% 2 stars. So I finally cracked into the good player mix.
You made it to the next floor, the
Hmm.
next level of competition.
Yeah.
Well, so what have you been? Have you changed your army since the last time we talked? What are you using now? I mean, because I know you're smashing it. I don't
Yeah,
know if
I've
on that last
I
one.
think I changed it.
I think when I was talking to Tip last time, I just said we just have to decide which one we want to feed to swim.
Yeah, yeah. I was listening at work. I just started laughing. But
Oh,
yeah, so I'm using a Root Rider army, just the traditional Root Rider Valks, except I'm using 12 Super Barbarians. And I've never really used them before for really anything. And the Super Barbs are actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Um, so they're great for funneling because the damage output on them when they're raged is crazy high. They're pretty decent tanks. So I can help start a really perfect funnel at the very beginning of the attack so that the Root Riders kind of ring around the base.
oh,
And then on the backside, I usually have like 8 or 9 super barbs left. And if I just sprinkle them in on the trash buildings, they will tank for all the Root Riders with those last, couple ricochet cannons and stuff like that. They'll straight up just tank them so that the Root Riders can come in while the defenses are distracted and just finish them up.
okay. Wait. Say your comp again.
So I'm using 5 healers, 5 Valks, 6 Root Riders, and then the 12 Super Barbs, along
Oh,
with some
okay.
other like cleanup troops and
Okay,
stuff.
I remember seeing your. I think you posted it. How was that different than? Well, I suppose you were using the RC walk, right?
Yeah, I still am. So I use the shortened RC walk. I think only like 4 invises. So that sets up a funnel on one side, and then I use a queen with the siege barracks in the middle. And then on the far right-hand side or the far left-hand side, just opposite of their RC walk, I just put the rest of my army in.
Okay. And you
So it's like an ultra funnel. So that they're forced along the edge of the base pretty much.
and what heroes and hero equipment are you using?
For the RC, I've been doing the haste file with obviously the electro boots. The haste file is nice because if the um, Spirit Fox dies, or I just like have a key defense I want to get down, she can just quickly just zoom
Take
around
it
and do
out.
her thing.
Yeah.
Warden, I'm using the double tomes. Queen, I've been kind of going back and forth between the mirror and the giant arrow with the healer puppets. My giant or whatever the giant name
Nice.
is, he's not high enough level yet.
Okay.
Um,
I just call him the baby
but
doll. I don't know why I call
the
him the
baby
baby
doll.
doll. It's just I don't know. When they said action figures, I just thought of
Oh, actually, yeah.
I don't know what it is, but where do you have him at?
I think only like 17.
Okay.
It's really hard because all my equipment finally is getting to like a really good level. But I've been saving up for the magic mirror to try and max it out. It's at 26 right now, and I just need 30 more starry.
Oh,
Um, but I mean I have 32,000 shiny ore and 1,300 glowy ore, and it's just sitting there because I'm just saving it for the mirror
everything.
so I can get it to 27.
And where's that at right now?
26. So I could
Oh,
spend
okay.
some
So
of the
you're
ore on other
right.
stuff, but
You're
yeah.
just
I'm
waiting.
just yeah, I'll once I max the mirror, I'll probably either go snake bracelet or the action figure.
A snake bracelet, huh?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of attacks on YouTube that use it. And I personally am not too much of a fan of it, but with the amount of usage, I feel like I'm just kind of
Are
missing
they
out.
are they
And
doing a snake walk?
yeah, something I don't but it's a lot of root riders with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think just the snakes have so much tanking because there's so many of them that it's like kinda helps the survivability of the roots.
Interesting. Yeah, mine just keeps walking. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're doing so you're between the mirror and you were
And the
saying
giant arrow.
and the giant
Yeah.
arrow, huh?
So I the mirror I feel like is kinda necessary because of that power that it can have in the middle of the base.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, if there's an invis base, I absolutely struggle against it. I've actually gotten at the beginning of the season a couple 1 stars where I tweaked how I went in on those invis bases because I mean, against the roots, it's just deadly. It's gnarly because they
Yeah.
target the defense, hit it once, and then it pops, and so then they just start, like, walking across the base to the next defense, and they just get shredded while they move because 'cause they're relatively slow.
Yeah. And I suppose if you're real I have something behind them, like some tanky stuff. So
Mhm.
like I'm kind of using mine as a little bit more of a wall buster kind of thing. So
Yeah, same here.
um okay, yeah. And then you're not using the king?
No, I switched him out with the minion prince. So with this army, it is a ground army, and I never thought I'd use the minion prince for anything ground, but it is surprisingly insane how good he is. So I bring 4 balloons, and that's like
Okay.
my little like shield of cocoa balloons that just go right in front of him.
His squad.
Yeah, exactly. And, hopefully I tell them like, relatively early, so I usually catch, like, probably 3 balloons, before they go down, and so then the balloons will last another, 9 seconds or however long the tome is, so that's just even more, like, protection, and then the balloons will go really deep in the base where there's always the all the air traps and stuff, and his
Okay.
ability to slow down is so good. And the damage, he's literally a flying archer queen, so
Really? O-
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, maybe we need to just start at the beginning with this minion prince here.
Mhm.
So if you let's say you nobody's ever let's say you know somebody who's never really used him before, like in a very hypothetical
Mhm.
situation. Like maybe this person has used him once or twice
Did they, like, recently max him?
and just recently maxed him. Yeah, you're really good at these hypothetical situations. um, what do I mean, where did you start? Like, or what did you, I guess, like, what are some tips or tricks or like,
Yeah. Yeah, again, definitely the, cocoa balloons in front, have those spaced out, because if
okay,
they're all in a line, they could just miss a mine, and the prince is gonna kinda go a little crazy behind him, and then he'll just get absolutely walloped by a sneaking air mine. And then I hold on to his ability as long as possible because if there is I mean, the balloons do go down eventually, and then he's kind of defenseless to those mines and the air defenses and stuff. And I still use oh, what's it called? The henchman puppet.
Okay.
Um, just because that kind of is like a free extra life. I know the metal pants are pretty good as well, but he's still taking 30% damage to
So you're
those.
using the dark orb, right?
Hmm.
And okay.
And the henchman. It's like the OG combo.
So I think our attacks are pretty somewhat similar. I mean,
Hmm.
well, you win. Um in that way. So I guess there's there's some difference there. But when you're dropping so like in your attack, right? And you're
Hmm.
thinking about the minion prince. What like for me, I'm thinking about the king as the tank. He's
Hmm.
gonna be for me, he can be like he's my least one that I care if he dies, I'm not reviving him,
Right, right,
right?
right.
He's my last one. So when you think about the minion prince going into an attack, how do you think of it, or like what is the objective with the minion prince in general for you?
Yeah. I feel like he's definitely not a tank. Because he goes down so fast to, the supercharged air defenses that we were talking about at the beginning and all of that. He's pretty much I feel like I didn't play as much when I was younger, with like the new metas and stuff, but I feel like the Archer Queen back then was kind of like you protected her with at all costs, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So for that's kind of how I'm thinking about him. He's my big damage dealer behind the army.
Okay, so he's always
Um,
clean up mostly.
kind of like I put him in with the main pack. He's usually the second to last thing I put in,
Okay.
behind the Root Riders, and he's just yeah, clean up. Any sort of heroes that will go in, like he gets rid of those really fast with his high damage output. It kind of speeds up the attack a little bit, and then if I can get him to that core or to like some set of like really tough defenses, then I pop the ability and just neutralize them with the freezing of the Dark Orb.
And that's because your main army is pretty much there with him too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
front of him.
yeah. And even on his own, like, if he kinda separates from the pack to, like, another set of big defenses, I'll just rage him up because he can get rid of a lot. Even if he goes down, I have the Phoenix on him. In another 8 seconds, a
Okay.
raged up minion prince is a couple thousand damage, takes out a whole group of defenses. It's insane.
So yeah, what are the pet options then that you would put on him?
I've seen a lot with, Angry Jelly.
Okay.
um, kind of saving some of that damage for just the defenses. But then with my Root Rider army, it's kind of like, what am I going to do with all the trash behind it? Then it'll kind of mess up my Archer Queen behind, and she won't path as well. So I don't really do that as much. Um, let's see. Sneezy, I guess you could do as well, but
Oh, I
I
hate
would
that
prefer
thing.
Sneezy on the Warden.
Yeah, me too.
Um, and that would protect all the healers that I have as well better because the minion prince does tend to go off by himself a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose his
Um,
range is probably a little weird because if
yeah.
things are out in front of him, then they're gonna take out be unpredictable a little bit with the range around him if they get through
Hmm.
something first or okay. Are you using Sneezy on the Warden?
I'm having Sneezy down. And 4 days, 16 hours, Sneezy will be fully maxed. And then yeah, I'm definitely gonna put him on the warden. Right now I have Diggy on the war. Oh,
I
oh,
think
that's gonna hurt. Diggy's
given
so good.
no, you are gonna dominate, I bet, as soon as you get that Sneezy. Yeah, because I used him. I think I threw him or her, the lady of the sky, the lady of the snot. Um, I think I threw her in when she was like level 3 or 2
Hmm.
because I had I think I had switched back to the unicorn and those things in the sky are the snots are just they're tanks.
Yeah.
I mean
That
they like I think tip what did he say? They're like 1,500 hit points? No, can't be that much, can it?
1900 at level 9 it's 1900, so I'm thinking level 10 will be 2000, which is wow.
But the snots, though, them like the bubbles,
Yeah.
those things are pretty powerful. And what ends up happening almost in every attack, it for me is they're the ones that are cleaning up the things on the outside, or they're the ones that are like break the heat off my heroes because
Mhm.
they're enough to survive, and they'll take a couple shots. Um,
Yeah.
and so I'm excited for you to use that, and
Yeah,
especially with your
I would be
attacks.
really good.
Well, what are you getting
Yeah.
from Diggy that you're gonna miss up from the?
Just, like, randomly, like, at the beginning of the attack, I'm not really seeing anything, but then when it's usually the warden survives, like, he's usually the last to go down because he's so ranged. But I'm just like, I see the multi-gear tower or the monolith, and it targets my little pack of what's left of the army at the very, very end. I'm like, "Oh, it's over, it's over." And Diggy goes in, stuns it just for long enough that they can get through that, and, oh, like,
Well,
it saved so many of my attacks.
well, maybe you'd put him. Maybe the uh Snotty would be better on your minion prince.
Yeah, it depends on the circumstance too, because those extra 8 seconds of the Phoenix does so much damage, but then, like, having the overall survivability increase of, maybe the Mini Prince wouldn't go down then, or the
There'd
rest
be
of
a
the army, the healers wouldn't go down yet, or stuff like that,
there'd be a
so
lot of air tank, yeah, and that's what's nice too is that it's like with the healers, it really helps. So if you're, I guess maybe where you're putting the healers too,
Mhm.
if the warden and the minion prince are together, I'm just wondering because I'm like, well, if you really are baked into your attack, and it's making me think about it too, because if I start doing it, like the amount of damage that happens, that you get from it that you would have not got, you wouldn't maybe have gotten as much in that 8 seconds, right? Like
Right.
the
Yeah.
overall, like I think you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
think it'll increase survivability a lot.
okay. And so Dark Orb. So that's, tell me about this Dark Orb thing, and the directional thing, because I'm not
Yeah.
great with preciseness
Yeah,
in
no,
terms of
it's,
timing.
very similar to the, air sweeper in, like, sorta general shape.
Okay.
If you go into the, blacksmith and click on the dark orb itself, you know how it shows the little video of it working and, like, how it works
Yeah. Oh,
next to
wait.
the description?
They do?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
like
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
In that, like, it shows the, 2 things are, like, really, really far apart, and it hits both, and it's insane the, distance that it can go. I mean, 5 tiles. Oh, no, that's damage. I don't know how far it goes. I mean, in the video, it looks like it covers a lot, and in my attacks, I can get a whole section, like, the entire core just frozen up for
Okay.
slow down, 70%, 50% slowdown.
Interesting. Okay. So when are you hitting that then? You're hitting that at the very core, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah, I try and save it as long as possible. It sucks a little bit because sometimes the minion prince walks or I guess flies on me and goes kind of by himself and starts ringing around the base, and then I never really have a chance to use it properly. But if he goes with the main pack as intended, like it's really good. And also, I can use it to because it does just a little bit of damage, 200, which isn't too much, but just because it does that, if I can freeze up over a, invis tower before my troops get to it, it will spring the invis tower because it's the distance is so
Oh.
far,
So it'll activate it,
and
huh?
yeah, and then, that way it doesn't mess up pathing at all, and I can just pretty much neutralize that tower.
I'm just thinking I could kind of see how that would work really well with my attacks.
Mhm.
Um, and especially like with the tomes and how I'm sure we're using them the same, or similar, but just in how I think about like where I push it to, and timing.
Hmm.
I could see that with the two tomes, um, slowing down the stuff enough that would you want to have him tomed when you? It probably doesn't
Um,
matter.
yeah, ideally not, just because with the henchman puppet ability, I use that as my like last resort against air mines and stuff as well. So if I can tow or use the ability, he can get through a couple air mines because of the henchman. Then I tow him after that. So then I, ensure through the core he doesn't get hit. That's like the ideal circumstance, but it's not essential necessarily.
So I haven't. So my friend theoretically hasn't played with the henchman
Mhm.
either. Um, can you just give you know, to somebody who might be listening, a brief, a brief rundown?
So pretty much, it's very similar to the where is it? The hog pocket of the Royal Champion. So he blinks invisible for 1 second and then spawns the two like beefy minions pretty much as henchmen. And so they're like, yeah, they do some damage and whatever. But it's the blinking so that any sort of bombs or anything won't target him. Getting hit by an air defense, it'll redirect to the henchmen that they have pretty decent HP. 2,500 hit points. So they're pretty decent tanks, and usually because of his overall damage output, he'll get through any sort of defense that's used to be targeting him before it retargets to him.
Okay. Um, I'm just looking. Is there any? I'm just looking at the increase in damage or DPS and stuff between the
Hmm.
different abilities. Doesn't look like the metal pants really give you any DP increase, right? It's
Mm-mm.
just the active ability. Well, I wonder if I should have maxed that one. All right. So I maxed, my friend maxed similar to me because the metal pants came out and I heard about it. I knew the dark orb. Everybody was talking about that. And so I just got my pants done, but I have my henchman at 14 right now. But so it's not going to
Hmm.
take terribly long time to get it up. But
Yeah.
um, henchmen get a DPS increase of 149. Or the dark orb is 73. So I suppose I should do the noble iron. Have you played with that?
Not at all. I have it at level 2, and it's pretty good for like an opener I've seen. So if you use it with the what's it called? The jelly, angry jelly. If you use it with the angry jelly, so he targets defenses. I saw an attack. I think someone mentioned it on the podcast a while ago, but it was you open with um, the minion prince with the noble iron. So you start funneling with that, and then you use the warden with him, and then you can
Oh
fireball
yeah.
deep
Yep.
into the base with that.
Okay.
And I haven't tried it at all, but that looks insanely powerful.
Yeah, and wasn't it one of the, I think it was Aki, maybe, that was it, the time about Aki's attack, that it was just the warden and the minion prince and would just take
Yeah.
out, oh, shock, or maybe it was shock, I can't remember. But just take out a huge section of the base. Is the noble iron just, is it mainly an increase in attack range?
I think so, yeah, for those first few shots. I think it's pretty much functions exactly like the, spear for the royal champion.
Well, this one says, when I'm looking at it, it says extra
But it's
damages.
passive.
Yeah,
Oh my I did not know. I thought it was act oh,
that's
shoot.
because it just looked, when I flipped into that video, I'm like, God, he looks farther away.
Yeah, that's I did not know that. Okay, well, I know what I'm gonna be upgrading now.
Because that looks like a ward. That looked like a warden's range. I think that must be why they were doing that with the noble iron.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I wonder what is the. I guess we don't know enough in the attack range normally. What it increases it to. Um, I guess I could Google that.
I feel like it's 7, but and
Okay.
I was looking at it, and, it's very odd because it's under, the attack range is under the passive ability,
Yeah.
but then the attacks count, which is 4, is also under the passive ability as well.
So if I'm on the wiki right now,
Mhm.
and it says prefer target any range, ground and air, movement speed 24. Range 4.5 tiles. The attack speed is 0.85 seconds. Search radius is 10 tiles. So
Mhm.
does the range go from 4.5 tiles to 11? No, it can't be that, right?
I think, yeah, maxed out, it's, 11 because looking at it, I have it at level 2 and it's 9. And I think I'm remembering back to it now. And so it's because it is a passive ability, but it's they're using it in a very weird way. So it's for 4 attacks at level 2. I think does it go up? Yeah, it goes way up to like 10 hits, probably by level 18. It's the very first 4 or 10 attacks that it does. That's why it's a passive. So you can't activate it and have it function like the spear so that whenever you want, you can use it. Rather, it's right when you deploy it, it starts using those attacks up. And it only does it at the range and the extra damage for the first couple hits that it does.
Oh, so it doesn't keep the range doesn't stay there the whole time.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
'Cause that would be that would have been so cool if it did.
Well, yeah,
I think
because
they should add something like that. That is like because I think of that's a little bit far. Like 11 tile range is that's really far.
it would be like,
But like
yeah.
a couple tiles to like the queen, like maybe a equipment that adds like a passability. It's like 2 tile increase or 1 tile increase. So that's because a lot of people build stuff so that like the Inferno Tower, single target, for example, are inset within walls enough that the queen can't target it. And they base stuff off of that. But with that equipment, you don't have to worry about that. The queen can still target that inset single target Inferno. And it would really help with a lot of mid range Legends hits.
Okay, hold on a second here. No line is passive here that appears to be dumbbell with blah, blah, blah. When equipped, it increases range and damage of the first. Oh, right, you're right. It increases the range and damage of the first few shots of the minion prince after it is deployed. Okay, never mind. But that's like with my furnaces because I've been kind of running furnaces. I think that could be really helpful just to throw him in there to like help clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like if I
Yeah,
drop,
I've been watching a couple of your attacks, and I think you like a funnel on either side, maybe with minion prints like that and the royal champion on the other side. And then that would be really easy to just worry about your furnaces up the middle.
yeah, and what I've been kind of doing to funnel to so normally where I would use probably a spirit walk and
Mhm.
places that I would like to use a spirit walk, but you probably shouldn't. Mostly where you shouldn't. This is kind of where you want to
Mhm.
do it. Um, I'll try to create a a wedge or whatever it is in the base, and then um, as the furnaces are still going, or if the fire mites are having problems getting in, especially in that case, I'll drop the warden and the healers and to kind of give an anchor for like expo or something. Um, and so the fire mites are distracting and taking the heats and it'll keep going. And so I'm wondering then if I drop the warden and the minion prince because they stay relatively safe at that
Mhm.
point. Maybe that could kind of lead into that like that attack you're kind of talking about, the how much they'd get out of it,
Yeah.
like those
Yeah, yeah,
two
yeah.
together.
The only problem that you would have to worry about is, air mines, since your, minion prince would be undefended unless you put a couple Coco Loons in front.
Well, I do have
But I
the
think
I could drop the warden with Sneezy
Sneeze yeah.
and like let some of those things get through there. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. Wow. Okay. So you take him, you just replace the king.
Yeah. Yep. A very, very similar use case, in the king, you try and use them in the core usually with the boots and the spiky ball. So just same exact principle. Just instead of damage dealing of the ability, it's more utility of slowing things down.
So what do you? I mean, how did you adjust to that? Like, I'd imagine you start going in. We we kind of rely on that spiky ball.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like wherever I'm at. If I don't know what the hell's going on, I'll just kick that king down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, where is he? Where is he? I don't know. Just hit it. Just hit it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It took a little bit to get used to, but um, with the extreme I mean, the minion prince does so much more damage than the king does. Just like him himself, especially with those uh, equipment attached to him. At least I believe it definitely feels like it. Um, And so yeah, you do miss that a little bit in the core, but a raged up minion prince over time, I think will do just as much damage. Um, and so yeah, it's like you definitely do notice it and you gotta adjust your attacks for it a little bit, but it's not near as bad as you would imagine, I don't think.
is there any like things that you notice that you do to kind of compensate, or
Um,
what's your drop order? Maybe. I mean, did that change up?
yeah, a little bit. So okay, so I spear walk one corner, Queen and Siege Barracks in the middle for the increased funnel, and then on the, opposing corner, on the one side, I do my Root Riders first because I treat those now as,
Wall breakers.
tanks,
Oh, tanks. Okay.
tanks and wall breakers, yeah, rather than before, I think I was more treating them as sort of, in my mind, like the damage dealers, and I really wanted to keep them safe.
Oh.
But now I'm like, yeah, I wanna keep them safe because I need that wall breaking throughout the base, but they can take a beating first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Especially
I
with that
do
tone.
yeah, exactly. Then I do, a slight funnel with the super barbarians on the close corner so that I can ensure that the Valkyries, which I drop next, go straight right behind the Root Riders. And then I do the 4 Coco Loons, partially spread out, then the healers right behind that, and those are a little ways behind the Root Riders, so they have to spend a little time catching up, but it helps keep them out of the range of any close defenses right there so that the Root Riders are taking the damage rather than the Coco Loons and the healers. Maybe they can get an air
Ah.
defense there or something like that. Then I do the Warden, then I do the Minion Prince, and very, very last, if I don't forget her like I did in the, the war, um what was that? Whatever the competition that we did, I forgot the,
Was it the worlds?
RC. I don't think it was I think it
Oh
was
yeah, yeah. It was. We were doing a tournament, and you forgot
yeah.
it, but you had already almost destroyed it, right?
Yeah, 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 I was at, like,
And it worked
we
out.
needed an 84%, and I was at 80%, and I'm
Yep.
like, "There's nothing left. I'm sorry, guys. I got, like, an 80. That's all I can do." And I just happened to scroll on my troop bar, I
Yeah.
just
Holy
see a
shit.
full health RC, and I'm like, "Oh, well,
My
there's another
RC.
4% right
I
there."
forgot to do my RC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I don't forget her, I do the RC very last because, she usually is lower health from the, spirit walk, and so I wanna ensure that she has a lot of time to kinda heal with that passive ability before she gets in the mix of things.
Okay. What are you going for with your spirit walk mostly now? The funnel, or are you trying to get a specific defense?
Um, yeah, usually, first and foremost, it's the funnel, But where the side that I decide to go from, usually if there's a heavy defense, like a monolith that's off centered, then I will be like, okay, I'm gonna spear walk this corner. So hopefully I can get the monolith or the multi gear tower. Those are like my two biggest fears.
Okay.
Um, or a sped or two. Because usually the scatter shots are central, so I can't even think to get those. But if there's a heavy defense, I target that, and then I mainly just go for the funnel. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, then oh well, I it's fine.
Okay. In general, how do you approach the spitters? Like, are you gonna come?
Um,
The way I'm gonna ask the question is gonna sound stupid. Is why I kind of stopped there because I'm like, are you gonna come right at come right at him? Like, kind of the obvious and like you're saying the monolith versus the um Gatling gun thing, right?
right, yeah,
So,
yeah.
because
Those are the two
I guess
biggest.
here's the picture in my head that I've been facing a lot lately. On the one
Hmm.
side, I've got the monolith and like the gun, and over on the other side, I've got the two fire spitters that are maybe facing each other,
Hmm.
but they're gonna take work to get through. And then I've got my furnaces, right? But for you, it's probably the spirit walk. It's probably we could probably think about them the same.
Yeah,
Eh,
yeah, yeah.
What are you gonna take your army out with, and what are you gonna take your what are you gonna use your RC to take out?
Yeah. So if it's on the same side, then it really okay. First off, it depends on if the spitters are facing one direction together or if they're opposite directions. If they're opposite directions, only having to face one at a time is a lot better than the two.
Yeah,
If it's two facing the same direction, that's prime target number one on the whole base because that will go through the root riders faster than anything else.
okay,
Um, if they're opposing directions, um, I would rather go in with if it's on the same side of the base, I would probably go in with the spirit walk on the mono and multi gear tower and get rid of those because those just feel even if you tome like 3 seconds later, 3 seconds damage is like 3,000. So it's
yeah,
just so much health right off the bat.
okay,
Where with the spitters, like, they can take a beating for a little while, and then I tell them to heal them back up, and then, hopefully by then they will have been taken care of.
okay,
If they're facing opposite directions. If they're together, then, it's a very similar, scenario on both sides where everything will just get eaten up, and toming right off the bat is not a good idea either, and, I don't even know
yeah.
what I would do in that circumstance.
So what about those ones that are a little bit of both, where they're facing each other, so they're also opposed, right?
Mhm.
Like it's only going to overlap depending on which side you come from. But if you come from the side and they're gonna, like the squish, you know what I'm talking
I
about? Kind
see.
of like
Yeah.
where like
Mhm.
they're facing each other, but their streams will converge over the town hall or before the
Mhm.
town hall.
So, like, kinda opposite corners of the base.
No, same corners. Maybe like they're facing each other, but they're like there's a building
Oh,
between them.
I see. Yeah.
And then
Um,
in that building, and then below them, let's say, is the town hall. So that way, whatever side you're coming from, you're going to get hit. But if you come in at the town hall, it's going to take both fire.
right. I would probably do the back side of one of them, whichever one is closest to the outside wall.
Okay.
Unless I'm saving that for last, which I would try and do everything to avoid. But with how I funnel, the root riders tend to ring around. So they would probably ring around the backside of the one closest to the outside and kind of start working their way in. So then no matter what, it would really just be one at a time that's targeting.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious. And where do you put the scatter shots now these days?
So I think let's see, with that Legend League base with the inset stuff, I'm not even utilizing scatter shots. Scatter shots are in their own compartments, pretty undefended. Opposite sides though, so if they were able to take out one, there'd still be the other.
Do they
But,
make they make you nervous
definitely
anymore?
when I'm attacking, yes. I'm used to not think so, and then I see when they get to when, all my root riders are together in a pack right on top of each other,
Yeah.
and then a ice golem freezes them
Yeah, I was
up,
just gonna
2
say.
shots from the scatter, like, they're
Oh,
decimated.
yeah, that's rough. Yeah, for with the roots, I just think it just can't have two of those major defenses on them like that at any time.
Mhm.
When you're coming in at the core, I'm
Yeah.
kind of I'm trying to kind of picking your brain about it because that's kind of what I'm facing with the furnace
Mhm.
dilemma, and I'm doing the clone rage, just double clone rage
Mhm.
furnace with 4 furnaces. But a lot of times I get into these bases and I look at it, and uh, it's very similar. Like I think in a way, like I said, to the RC walk. But I look at it and go, I think I can get this one. I think I can take out this, and I'm usually pretty good about it.
Mhm.
But it seems to have more stakes now with the furnaces than it did with the RC walk. Like if it just doesn't quite go right, or I can still get enough, but like I need to figure out how to maximize, like kind of with quick and hard fast rules, so I can spend more time, like in Legend League, at least like
Mhm.
in that 30 seconds, figuring out the attack. Like, okay, now all right, here kind of a guideline. Now I'll just try to hit it this way. Now how am I going to hit it this way?
Mhm. Yeah, and the nice thing about your attack compared to mine is, with the core being like some of them are just crazy heavy defenses, like, everything is
Yeah,
in there, and if I try and go into that with my root riders, I have to be perfect timing on literally everything, which means my opening has to go perfect, everything has to survive, no RC going down, I have to save my tome for the latest possible second in the core already, and it's almost never is able to happen like that, so then I end up with a high 2 star because the core just it will shred, like, if there's high
yeah,
damage, Root Riders do not last. Where yours, you're kind of I don't wanna say sniping, but with the way that the furnaces kinda function,
yeah.
you don't have to worry about high damage, you're just trying to get things in there, and then the knights will do their thing.
Yeah, and actually too, I think something I have to play with because Daddy in House of L, shout out, has been doing the furnaces too. And
Mhm,
I noticed last night he was running. I think he's running a Shocks Attack or a version of Shocks Attack. I'm not quite sure, but I know he referenced Shock. But he was putting a bunch of furnaces down, and what I have to learn and think about, I guess, is overkilling with the furnaces because they can only do
mhm.
so much. They're all going to jump on one building, right? So
Yeah.
like sometimes, like I'm using 4, but Shock's thing from one of the videos I had seen was to use really like 2. So
Mhm.
so I've got to figure out how can I just I might not get X amount of damage out of this. Um, I can't overkill it, right? I can't get more damage out
Right.
than goes on it. So um, there's some interesting things with that to play with
Yeah,
at least, or like backside
yeah.
things. And
Yeah, I've been using the furnaces in, my siege barracks now. Like, I used to
are
have
you?
my siege barracks full of, either super minions or, Valks I did for a while, but the Valks just kinda run around and kill all the trash, which is nice, but they don't really do anything.
Yeah,
And then the super minions would be good because it would target a little bit, but again, a lot of it was wasted on trash. With those furnaces, it's like 30 seconds of just continuous damage on everything because the
yeah,
defenses are targeting my army, and so the mites, almost all of them will get in, and I've seen them take down a monolith by themselves tons of times. Town Hall, it saved me yesterday, it saved me like 2 1 stars, and I ended
really.
up with a triple because of the furnace got down the Town Hall, and it would nothing else of my army would have been able to reach it in time for a time fail, so
Nice. Yeah,
they're
one
good.
thing I did yesterday that I hadn't done before was I was in the middle of the attack, and instead of freezing to stop something from shooting my king and queen at the time, I think
Hmm.
I froze so that the fire mites would get it and finish taking it out, because I knew like there's barely anything left. But if I could get some in and burn, I'd be okay a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah. The burning's really nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Do they stack? Like the burning, does it like if 5 of them hit it, then it'll be doing like 500 damage a second? Or is it kind of
I
capped?
I think so. Don't quote me on that. And thank God I'm not on a podcast talking about it. Um, but if so, like when I clone and rage them, when it gets going, it gets burning fast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the town hall will go down really fast if
Mhm.
there's more on them. So they must stack. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Who knows? I'm often wrong. Um,
Yeah, looking at it, it says max damage per second is 150, but I don't know if that's like the burn kinda ramps up till it's 150, or if it's like the max fire possible is 150.
I suppose it couldn't do 1,000 damage per second, right?
That's true. Yeah, because then I mean, yeah, it would just take 10, and if you're doing 4, that'd be well, I could see that because if you're doing 4 furnaces, you said, and it takes down the town hall pretty fast.
With the
I mean,
rage and
with
clone and rage, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, I guess they do 80 damage when they jump on it too, but
Hmm.
150 just seems low for having,
Yeah.
like, for the amount of damage output that I've seen of the burning itself.
So in have you tried the troop launcher?
I did originally for a little bit. I think I'd used healing on it for a little while. I've tried it with freezing troops, which can be really good. And a little bit of damage troops, but that was a couple months ago. Like right when it first came out, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
I
But I'm back to my siege barracks.
I pretty much switched over to it with
What are you launching with it?
just Yetis.
Oh, the Yeti. Yep, I can see that.
And
Kind of like a spread out Yeti bomb in a way.
yeah, and I switched to it in well, my original thought was switching to the furnace, right? If I've got two clones and a rage,
Hmm.
then if something goes wrong with the furnaces and I've got three Yetis in the CC, then I can always blimp it.
That's true. Hmm.
Right? Like if something really goes wrong and I need to get in there, I can just blimp it. Because I was switching over from like the Yeti blimp and things. Um,
Hmm.
the last war I switched in the middle of it. I switched to like I was planning. Maybe it wasn't the last war; it was the war before. Where I was looking at the base and I started the attack, and I'm like, I'm gonna try. I think I should use a siege barrack. But in that case, then to switch it up, it sucked a little bit because I didn't really get the Yeti power, but I wanted the P.E.K.K.A
Right.
power.
Yeah.
But it seems like when I'm using the troop launcher, what I'll do is I'll do the furnace entry, drop in the middle of the furnace entry as I think it's about ready to be where I want it. I'll drop the warden in the queen, and then I'll drop the troop launcher and just
Hmm.
let it keep doing its thing. And then the rest of my army behind that.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah.
giving, which is really pretty nice. But I'm finding that if I switch to the siege, the core becomes a lot more difficult. Like I'm
Hmm.
getting a lot of extra oomph from it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's because there's so many options now that are all really viable. And I kinda wish you could I mean, it kinda defeats donations, but if you could change the contents of your CC when when you went in for your Legends attack and saw the base that you were going against,
Yeah.
like, I think that'd be a kinda cool even, like, s how that'd be a good limited time event, and just kinda seeing, like, what people could do.
Yeah. Like
'Cause
I,
then, if there's a heavy core, you can just, blunt it, like you were saying, But then with siege barracks, that the Yetis are kind of not worthless, but they don't do near as much.
That'd be a good upgrade for like once your stuff is maxed out or your barracks to
Mm-hmm.
to supercharge it, and then you've got two um different army things. It'll hold two different
Yeah,
armies, so you can
that would
request
be cool.
two armies. I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And is there? I heard maybe you said something about whispers of a new epic on the horizon.
Yeah. So
It's got the
I've heard
dirt.
this got leaked forever ago. And then it kind of got canned a little bit, but I was looking on Reddit a little bit this morning, and there was it just reloaded. Dang it. I had it somewhere, but it's Minion Prince Epic Equipment. And, it was I forget the exact specifics of it, but it was like a very unique
The party hat?
ability. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Was it something that looked like I don't know how to say it, like
Here it
a
is.
futuristic, like evil warlord thing from a Galactic Empire?
Yeah, it's, I just found it's the Dark Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
I
the
got it.
only thing it says about it was it boosts health and damage a total of 3 times when allies are defeated.
Okay, say that
So,
again.
it boosts health and damage a total of 3 times when allies are defeated.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's like something like a almost like it rages the minion prince and gives them a little shield in a way. And so like if I don't know 50 troop space of your army is dead, then the minion prince goes in a frenzy and starts going crazy, does all this extra damage and health. Um, and it's like 50 troops die, 100 troops die, and then 150 troops die, and it does the same frenzy over and over again.
So I saw on YouTube, I didn't go searching for this, right? It popped up in my
Mhm.
feed. Um, really. That was that galactic kind of empire thing, which I think is it's a weird.
Mhm.
I thought of like the Fifth Element and stuff. I don't know why, but I saw a video, and there were bombs. Like it looked like air bombs. Like I wonder if God, how do I? Sorry, it probably just sounds ridiculous for you sitting there. Um, it looked like an ability where bombs came up from the ground as if they'd set off mines. Like it was setting off the bombs, but maybe in the video it was just whatever it
Oh.
was doing. So like what I kind of thought it might do was generate. And as you kind of say the allies and health, I'm just kind of wondering like maybe it triggers, maybe it doesn't trigger traps, but it just looked like it created it. It was just a very very short
Yeah.
clip, but I couldn't
Huh.
tell what it was. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the like, it has a list not a list, but a, the level, you can see the across, like, what each level does and the damage increases that each one does.
Yeah.
It shows, like, a damage increase percentage increasing by level, a health increase percentage by level, a hit point increase going by level, and attack speed increase going by level as well.
Okay.
So, it's whatever it is, I think it will be very powerful.
So save your ores, I guess, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just spent mine on the. Well, I wonder if when that will come out. What you think it'll come out this month?
Maybe. I think it should be in the next, metal event. I don't know if we have one this month, or like the not the mini one, but the normal, um, metal events. I forget what the
Yeah. What?
we didn't have one last month, so I think, yeah, it definitely could be, The event that you're talking about later this month.
So the
Yeah.
first thing on this I'm seeing is May 12th. Hey, I know that guy. The Super Yeti makes his real debut with a mini spotlight event. Earn ice cubes in
Oh, I
home
remember.
village battles and unlock precious loot. May 17th through the 22nd, the treasure hunt event is back. Wait, the treasure hunt event is back. Those enemy villages are just begging to be plundered. Uh,
Oh.
May 22nd through 28th, Super Troops get a super discount. Did you hear
Oh,
that? A 99% discount to be exact.
wow. That's
That's
hmm,
crazy.
yeah, nice 200 or less or dark elixir to upgrade or boost them. That'll be nice.
It'd be nice if they just let us have unlimited.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is then people could have armies of. Oh no, I guess it can still be capped at two different kinds of super troops. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I think it's
You
a
think if
little
they let
outdated.
all super troops in, like if you could have 4 or 5 different ones, that it would be too powerful?
I feel like that definitely could be. Um,
They're just so heavy.
I don't. Yeah, that's true. I think. I don't think they would be much stronger than the current like Root Riders or
Hmm.
drag attacks though. Like
Maybe
it
they'll
won't
play
be.
with that.
Yeah, I think they should definitely at least erase the cost. Like even if they keep it capped at two, there's no reason to keep the cost at 25,000 to boost it for 3 days. Um,
So here
I mean,
is
because
yeah, here is the last one, and this might give us some insight. May 22nd through the 28th, the Strongman is here with with Super Troop focused clan games. Those Super Troop discounts will come in handy. So I
super
bet
troopers.
you can I bet you're gonna be able to boost a bunch of different ones. Because
Yeah,
you couldn't do clan games with just 1 or 2 super troops, right? I mean, I bet you they're like
once you
use a
cancel and
super
upgrade, or
watch. Yeah, use a
yeah,
super witch in a multiplayer attack. I bet is what will happen.
yeah. Huh.
Okay,
That
so they're playing with super troops this month. Okay,
Yeah, that's nice. They need some love on the super troops for sure. I mean, like super valves and stuff are just never used, and I think um like I know Clash Royale. I haven't played this in years, but I've seen it. Like they have, I think it's like a champion card or something, and it's like you don't have to use it, but it's something that you want one in your army. And
oh
I feel
yeah, yeah,
like super troops should be something where, you want to have a super troop in your army because 'cause they're just super good, but you
yeah.
can't have a full army of super troops or
You need
anything.
kind of like a bigger presence to like push it over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or at least, like, change I mean, some of them are really good. I think the Super Yeti will. I mean, they're gonna nerf it like crazy, but some of the stuff will I think that will be good. Super Wall Breakers are great, but, like, Super Barbs are great as well, but some of the other ones just they need reworks for sure.
Yeah, just to be able to play with them more, I think is it's too cost prohibitive to
Mhm.
experiment really in the
That
wild
too. Yeah. Yeah.
and like go, oh, now I have 3 days to commit to it or spend while I'm trying to max things out. And
Yeah.
well, maybe what we should do is wrap up. We're about an hour 20. You probably want
Okay.
to get your bike ride going, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I just tuned everything up and I
How
gotta play around with it some
how
more.
far are you going today?
I don't know. I yesterday went 42 miles, 43 miles, 42 miles. And
Oh,
I
holy shit!
think today I'm a little tired, so I might be just kind of tuning stuff,
A light
making
60.
it fit. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But
Well, I'm gonna shout out the House of L and Captain Tip Dog
yep.
because it's a big uh, month for House of L, and I'll be recording an episode with Tip too, and um, getting his take on CWL. But we, the House of L, conquered the high seas and have
Yes.
promoted to Masters 1. You
Finally, after many months of trying.
what do you think? I mean, what any your take on it as we're kind of
I
big shout outs and wrap? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, with this war, I think it's about time. We've been so close. We've been second almost every single time, and we just absolutely wiped the board, and it's been great. And looking at the clan, I think it was Beer Zombie got the
perfect.
perfect. So definitely shout out him. That's an accomplishment for sure.
Yeah,
And
especially
Warpig
these
was
days.
second. That was
Big
great too.
big shout
Got
out. Well, how'd you feel? I mean, you ate a lot of bases.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did all right. This was, I think, my last CWL. I went perfect, so I was a little hard not hitting perfect this time. Um, I think I got all triples except two high percent two stars. Um, got 693% destruction overall, so I was
very
7%
nice.
shy of a perfect CWL. But
I,
um, I'll take it. I'll take it.
yeah, for sure. I hit a couple time fails, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
miscalculations.
the worst.
It really is because you just don't quite know where you can sometimes have gotten that extra time, and if you need to
Mhm.
kind of go back to the thing. Um, so big shout out to. I mean, you found it about the same as normal. Like any other kind of takes on CWL? Anything you wanted to talk about
Yeah.
with it?
I think you were mentioning this earlier when you and I were talking, and that first, like at the beginning of the war, I noticed the clan that got second to us,
Oh yeah,
actually by a fair margin, they were ahead of us for I would say like half the war,
yeah,
or half the week. And I thought we were actually, I thought it was. I don't want to say like I lost all hope and it was over, but I wasn't like really looking at the leaderboard as much. Because I'm like, "Oh, we'll just get second again as always."
yeah,
And then I look, like, last night, and I'm like, "Wait, we're tied. Wait, we're ahead. How are we ahead?" And then we ended
yeah,
up winning by, like, 15 stars, and it's just like
yeah. Because it was the first war, and maybe it was the second war. Uh, Maybe it was after I think the second war.
Mhm.
Someone stopped by the clan and was asking about CWL, and we were battling for. I think we were in third or fourth at that point when I was talking to them about it, and the top team was ahead by like 20 points. I mean, it just looked like okay, this is going to be one of those things. But I was thinking at that point, well, remember those teams that lost to and still came back? We could do it.
Yeah.
But then we
Mhm.
faced one of those teams, and it was I think maybe it was the third war, and they one of the teams that had a big lead or pretty close to big lead over us, and that were above us at least, and they must have faced uh, one of the clans that must have just promoted into Masters 2 because we faced those later on and made up the difference. But
Yeah.
it was intimidating though, just seeing that
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, looking at our stars, when we went against the clan that got second, we got, like, 69, they got 68. And then looking as we just went on, we got better and better. We ended War 5, we got 83 stars.
Yeah,
War 6, we got 89 stars. Jeez.
it was. I really liked Tip's idea of no mirrors.
Yeah, me too.
I maybe that is the thing, and I'll talk to him about it. But I felt like because we didn't necessarily look over and go, okay, I got to hit that. We looked for the things that we could hit.
Exactly. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
because I mean, people can attack up as long as the base design is fitting to their army. And there's so many Town Hall 17s in our clan too that it's like, I mean, the 17, the armies are pretty much we're all the same army ability.
Yeah,
And it's just the base and the army comp that we have.
yeah. Huh. Oh, cool. Well, I
Yeah.
can break it down with Tip too. a
Mhm.
little bit further. I'd like to get his take. I was incredibly busy and stuff this week, so um, I'd like to get his take as captain or general of
Mm.
L this time. And a big shout out to Chewy. Uh,
Yes.
this victory is just as much yours, even though you couldn't be
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it it's not a CWL that stands alone. It took us months and months of hitting those twos to promote.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we miss you, Chewy.
yeah, it's weird not seeing him every day. Uh,
Yeah.
shout outs.
I mean, again, just Beer Zombie and War Pig top 2 in CWL, and definitely the whole rest of the clan. It's great. I haven't been in chat as much as normally, just with finals with school and stuff. But this summer, I'll hopefully be a little bit more active and talking to people. And there's
It's
so many new players in the clan too that are like super talkative and wanting to learn and practice in FCs. I see an FC in chat right now, and
ooh.
like it's great. So
Yeah, shout out to the new members. I saw Daddy's back. Uh shout out to Destruction. I'm thinking of Papa I saw in there. Um
mhm.
I'll write some of these down for the next episode, as always. Um big shout out to Tip. Uh
Yep.
big shout out to you. Thank you for being here again. It's always fun catching
Oh,
up
of
with you.
course. Yeah, I
It's
love being
fun
on.
watching you attack, hanging out. So
Yeah.
well, until next time, you can get a hold of us at Clash Clans Podcast at gmail.com or clashclanspodcast.com. You can find all the information about the House of L and the podcast there. We're doing something a little bit new, as we mentioned last time on the podcast. So if you're a lower town hall, right? Or if you're just a town hall that um you could be any town hall. But House of L2 is going to be more of like a training ground or a little bit a place more for the lower town halls.
Mhm.
Um, not exclusively or anything, but we're thinking about next month, we're going to have to move back and forth a lot between the clans. And now we have Clash Worlds and things like that. So we're going to do a 15, I think, in L, a 30 and L2. And so we're going to start to work with the lower town halls so that they get the wars that are
Mhm.
more even and that they have bases to hit. So
Yeah.
since everybody's maturing into fine young TH17s, um, we just have some organizational things to do, I guess. But
Yeah. No, I think that'll be perfect.
yeah. So until next time, everybody, keep it clashy.
Keep it classy.
skilly beep boop, skilly beep.